I never thought they'd wrap this series up, but I think they finally did. And I was kind of surprised by it. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga still portray Ed and Lorraine Warren very well. The cinematography wasn't just the typical cookie cutter basic we see in every film these days. It was well thought out, and it made more of the scenes feel more engaging to one another. I always love close-ups because they give you that shallow depth of field, and it gives you that very distinct and refined kind of look. The music felt very fitting to this film. It kept the emotional moments high without being too distracting. This was definitely a better score from Benjamin Wallfisch, but he's one guy that has a decent track record of decently good scores. I just don't think he's made a super memorable theme quite yet. The pacing to this film felt slow at times, but then it was ramped up as things got just a little bit boring. If you're expecting a story with a bunch of jump scares, I don't think this film is for you. This is a film that really focused on a story more so than scaring the shit out of you. It's something I have to applaud the filmmakers on, because in the sea of absolute shit films this year, they finally put out a decent story that you could really get behind. I will say this isn't as good as the first film or even the second one, but I do think Michael Chaves has vastly improved over the years since The Devil Made Me Do It. It just feels drastically different, and it feels more refined since the last installment. The story follows their first case while Lorraine was pregnant. They find out this mirror is possessed, and they see what's up with it. She touches it and it cracks the mirror, triggering her to go into labor, and Judy pops out, and it's an absolute miracle she's alive, as she was a stillborn. Fast forward to 1986, where Ed and Lorraine are getting older and semi-retired from helping people with occultism. Judy is more grown up now, and she's starting to see more things. A family in Pennsylvania gets this mirror after how many years, and things start to go sideways for them. Whatever is attached to the mirror obviously likes to do some f***ery. The family suffers from the demon playing damn games with them. Homie pops out with an axe, and the other two spirit chicks are just in it to play around and also do some f***ery. I will say the axe dude was awesome. I'm like, damn, I would shit my pants if I saw that guy. The story itself really explores Judy moving on with her life, and now she's about to get married. Initially, Ed doesn't approve, but he's kind of like pushed into approving it anyway. He obviously didn't want to let his little girl go. Then something about Judy and this mirror being intertwined with one another. She keeps holding back her psychic abilities, and she uses a nursery rhyme to cope. And she could only use this nursery rhyme for so long because you just knew as the film progressed that more of her psychic abilities would be unleashed. Especially the part where she's trying on her wedding dress and them spirits are just up to no good with her. I will say there's some funny moments within this film, and I'm really glad they kept the comedy in here. It just makes it feel more natural. There's this part where Tony asks if they always make pancakes during these times, and Ed was like, yeah, we also make waffles as well. I'm just going to jump into a few more spoilers here, and I thought it was very interesting how Father Gordon goes to this house in Pennsylvania, and he just sees how rough the family is, and then he's like, holy shit, there's obviously something really bad here. And then he just goes to the church, and then he gets all, bye-bye, turn it off! It was a bit sad that he bit the dust, and obviously that dark entity really wanted to make him leave, but I guess it was just a push for Judy to investigate that mirror. One of my biggest gripes about this film is just how Judy becomes possessed, and then she goes and hangs herself after, and then after they fall through the floor, it's just like it disappears. And I was like, what? Did it go back into the mirror or something? I just found it very odd. And the whole ending was okay. At least they used their abilities, and I guess they became fearless against this demonic entity to make it go bye-bye, turn it off, I guess. It could have just been a little more intense, keeping them maybe in separate places for just a little bit longer, instead of just really ending it quick. And it just somewhat felt flat, but in a way it still felt very satisfying too. I thought the wedding was also good, bringing back all those other characters from previous films, and then they also even had James Wan make a cameo as well. And I thought that was great. I thought it was very interesting they focused on Judy's character in this film, because all the other movies you didn't really get to see Judy that much. She's like here and there, but she's not really the main focus. So a lot of times you're like, did they even have a kid? And that's what I was thinking the entire time. Like, you watch the other 3 Conjuring films and sometimes you can't even remember that they have a kid named Judy. I just thought that was really funny that this entire film they focused on her character, which was really nice to see, because I did really like Tony's character as well, and I just liked their little dynamic they had. It felt more like a family-based kind of entry, where Ed and Lorraine's first case linked up to basically their last one they did. And I do think that is kind of cool. The way that at the end she has her little vision of the future together, I thought that was very nice. It was just like a very sweet touch to the film. And I think Michael Chaves, he did a really good job of that. He really took those scenes and really meshed them well together. And it was just a very nice send-off. I just really enjoyed this film. It was, again, this film was another breath of fresh air. And it was nice to see that. A lot of films these days, they don't have that. They don't focus on the story. I know a lot of people probably won't like this film just because it's not that scary, but at the end of the day, it was more focused on telling a good story. And I think they succeeded in that. So you can't really get mad at these guys for really giving us a story-based film instead of just giving us all these jump scares and horror vibes. Even though this is a horror franchise, they really made you care for these characters, and obviously you didn't want to see Ed get the old bye-bye turn it off. Obviously he came close to it, but it was just nice to see these moments where you kind of had the thoughts that they might go bye-bye turn it off or something like that. I even thought when Judy was possessed that she was gonna do something even crazier, but it turns out she just hangs herself and then falls to the floor. And I'm like, okay, I guess. And then you got this mirror spinning like a few 100 billion times. And it's basically dragging Tony on the damn floor. Like, I didn't mind that. Maybe if there was like a few more stakes here and there, I do think it would have been a little bit better. At the end, you kind of realized everyone was gonna live. But yeah, the cinematography in this film is miles better than The Devil Made Me Do It. It just has this very cared look to it. Like, they put a lot of effort into the cinematography, which I do think is really nice to see, because a lot of films are so cookie cutter basic, and that's not something you really want. You want to see something that's more refined and more fitting to the series. Overall, this movie is a 7 out of 10, and it just feels like a good send-off for the series. It just feels very meaningful. Sure, it's not super epic by any means. You're just having a good time, and you get to see these characters once again. And then the music together, it just worked very well overall. And I really did think they weren't gonna stop. I thought they were just gonna keep making these films till the day they die, essentially. But I guess you gotta end things eventually. If you want to get possessed by more fun videos, then why not subscribe and watch more of these?